All right, guys, you're welcome to another episode of The Views from the Stand. We are here to share our thoughts and views concerning topical issues that have been going around. One of the biggest one that hit me like a sword through my chest this week was an argument that I saw somewhere that Omar Marmoush is a better forward than Serhou Guirassy. And the argument the person put forward was that, oh, in the last AFCON, Serhou Guirassy did not do anything. Come on, this guy plays for Guinea, right? And the person said, okay, but somebody else who was playing for Equatorial Guinea scored and was the highest goal scorer. Yes, I agree. But he plays for Guinea. And beyond that, we've been seeing what he's doing in Europe. So do we really want to have this argument? Well, I thought that I would take it to a man who understands the German Bundesliga better than every one of us who want to make any argument, who lives through the German Bundesliga, who sees it every time and understands this player, who knows Omar Marmoush like the back of his palm, or probably like a preacher knows the scripture, and also who also knows the Serhou Guirassy the same way an imam understands the Quran and the Hadith. So I will bring in Mario, who also is an expert when it comes to sports data and the science behind data. But I've got our baby face assassin, Abib Ayodeji, fantastic guy who's in Indiana, USA. Time difference are not happy matters, but he's always make this safe available. For those of you who are missing out on the other members of the crew, they've been very, very busy. Not that they are absconded. Okay. Let's start with you, Abib. Abib, how is the US today? What's going on? Lakers have uh, LeBron James and Doncic. Are they going to win another NBA ring for LeBron James?
Uh,
No, you, you
uh,
you should know what's on the street. What are people
no,
saying?
no, no,
Is
no,
this
no,
the
no,
missing
no.
piece
Yeah,
that wins
yeah.
it for Lakers?
No, the thing is, I don't. I think we are placing too much expectation on LeBron James.
Not
The
LeBron
guy,
James, no, Luca.
yeah, yeah. He still does. The question you asked me was like, LeBron James. They have LeBron James and Lucas, so they should win everything. I think the answer I'll give is no. I don't
You
expect.
don't
I'm
think
not really
Luca
expecting.
is the X factor?
No, I don't.
Okay, let's leave it. So, how is the US? Are you guys preparing for the world?
Yeah, we are ready to host you guys in 2026. But it's quite sad.
Nigeria is not going to
Unfortunately,
come.
Nigeria is not going to make it. Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of like. It's sad for like a lot of people that want to jackpot in your words. But yeah,
I don't want to jackpot. So it's not a sadness for me. Let me ask you this: do you think Jimmy Carragher was wrong for what he said about the Afcon?
it was condescending. Yes, it was.
Have you
And
seen Okocha's response?
Okocha's response is hilarious, and yeah, I think I kind of agree with it. Although people would argue that Okocha is also not in the place to say the same thing, but yeah, Jamie Carragher's comments were very condescending, and I think Okocha's response was like the right response to it. He said, "You don't have to listen to every. It's not everybody's opinion you take seriously."
I
And
agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
and
But let's you know me, I like to deal with facts. Okocha said something that in my head, I'm thinking he said Jamie Carragher's career. Is that what you would want your child to be like? More like, is that something you want your child to emulate? That's what he was referring to, right?
yes,
Do you agree with that part of that comment?
yes, because nobody will grow up saying they want to be like Jamie Carragher. Who do you know that grows up saying they want to be like Jimmy Carragher? No disrespect to him, but who do you know? Wait, can you mention one highlight from Jimmy Carragher's career? One outstanding highlight.
Player of the season in Liverpool in the year, what was that year again? 2006, if I'm not mistaken. Liverpool player of the season, 1998, 1999. And again, player of the season, let's say that first one was a fluke. Again, it was a player of the season 2004, 2005. Let's be careful what we're saying because we think we're angry, right? Uh, this guy was a double FA Cup winner. This guy was a triple League Cup winner, a double Community Shield winner, twice in the finals of the UEFA Champions League. Won one, lost one. 2004, 2005, he won it. 2006, 2007, that's 2 years later, he was a runner-up. UEFA Cup winner 2001 season. UEFA Super Cup 2001, UEFA Super Cup 2005. FIFA Club World Championship runner-up 2005. Wait a minute. How many African players, attackers, defenders, can we mention have this pyramid of achievement on their CV? Let's be honest here.
I'll give you a counter argument to that.
Okay, let's have a counter argument.
The first is you would have the worst of the players, worst set of players in the squad also win league titles, win all those competitions.
You don't play 700. No, you don't play 737 games for a club consistently, and you don't win player of the season twice for that club by being worst player. I do not agree. There's no way you can be worst player in a team and you're a player of the season and go on to win the champion. No, you can't.
And the second line of argument is if you were to list top 20 defenders, greatest defenders in the Premier League,
Jamie Carragher will be there. Actually, it will be there. Whether you like it or not, it will be there. It would. Top 20. Top 20 defenders in the Premier League era, 1992 to now. Absolutely, Jamie Carragher is there.
We said top 10. Is it going to be your top 10?
I would struggle to put him in my top 10, but in the top 20, he will be there.
In top 20. And the third argument would be you do not beat someone and tell them how to react. You do not provoke someone and tell them how to react. He brought the smoke on himself.
Yes, I agree. 100%. That one, I don't even disagree with him. But this same JJ Okocha was in Kenya 2 seasons ago and rubbished the Nigerian league just the same way Jamie Carragher is rubbishing the AFCON now.
And JJ Okocha deserves all the criticism for doing that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me hear it from a European. Mario, when you guys look at the African Cup of Nations, how do you guys see it as, in contest in relation to the Euros, the Copa America, and the AFCON? Let's leave the Asia Cup and the Oceania Cup out of the conversation.
From a general perspective, from a general footballing perspective?
Yes, from a general footballing perspective. As a European.
Priority 3 as a European in terms of competitions. But I understand Jamie Carragher because you see the ignorance of Englishmen is always been there. They always see things much bigger. There is nothing outside the Premier League, nothing. Yeah, not even the Champions League is more relevant than the Premier League. That's the Englishman's mind and thought. That's why he stupidly made this comment from my perspective. He ignored everything. I worked for the last 5, 6, 7 years with African like yourself and everything, and I know the importance. Yeah, as it is as important as the European Championship, as it is as important as the Copa Libertadores in South America. It is as important as an Asian, Southeast Asia games and so on. It is the biggest continental competition, and therefore it should be treated like that. We have got outstanding stars who show their talent in all the major leagues, and that's why it should be treated respectfully and treated exactly the way it is. And this fiercely back and forth with JJ Okocha, Jamie Carragher, they should go out to a pub, have a drink, and both agree on both sets, because that's just what it is. It's just a stunt, and we're making now as media guys too much out of it. He probably learned his lesson, Jamie Carragher. He probably got 2 million shitstorm, disrespectful messages for sure on his social channels, and obviously now he knows that it's a very big tournament, and probably on his next TV setup he will just change his mind and saying it's like that. But that doesn't change obviously that the image is from Jamie Carragher is hurt and a little bit damaged because of his disrespectful action.
So let me re-engineer this conversation from another angle. Do you think that CAF also owe themselves some reaction in terms of how? I mean, the last AFCON was massive, and it was massive in addition coming off the back of Jurgen Klopp calling it a little tournament. and we reacted. Africa as a continent, we're reactive people. Do you think again? Because me, I'm just thinking, I'm a very, very paranoid person. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Do you think that these things are pre-planned and say, okay, leading up to the AFCON, somebody should make this comment so that it will galvanize the continent of Africa? Because we, as Africans, like to react. Do you think this would drive this year's competition to another level? You shared some of the data from this AFCON with me, and they were astronomical. They were incredible. And I still have a lot of hearts to grind with CAF, even though this new CAF is trying. For instance, we hosted the CAF competition last year, and the team of the year, you have Williams, the South African goalkeeper, as the goalkeeper of the tournament. You have Trustekong as the player of the tournament. Then by the end of the year, when you were not giving out your CAF player of the year, let's even leave that one. You now make your team of the year. Andre Onana, the worst goalkeeper in the world, was CAF pick. The only reason they picked him was because he was playing in Europe, even though he was playing for one of the worst clubs currently in the world, Manchester United, but they picked him. And that alone is sending a message to the rest of the world that CAF does not even take its own competition serious. How is it that just at the beginning of the year, your goalkeeper of the tournament could not make it into your team of the year? Your player of the tournament could not make it into your team of the year. I don't care about the CAF African Footballer of the Year. That one is, okay, different. But your team of the year, Willem Trustekong did not make it. The Williams goalkeeper from South Africa did not make it. And then you brought the worst goalkeeper just because he has an African origin. This guy came to the African Cup of Nations, considered 4 goals in the only game he kept, and then was conceding throws of goals, like a leaking pipe. And you see made him your best goalkeeper. Does that not sell your tournament short from the perspective of CAF?
You asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
Yeah, it does. Of course. I mean, we have to. I think what CAF's trying to do and not yet fully understanding is what we have to consider always in the business. Yeah, we always look at NBA, we always look at NFL, we always look at the NHL and the MLB possibly as US sports as being the driver of all the change. But they are operational businesses. They are companies. And if the company is doing well, everything is fine. Yeah, and we have in Europe, in Africa, in South America, and in Asia, we have fans. Yeah, if somebody, for example, in the NHL, if the Philadelphia Flyers have an away game with the Washington Capitals and Andrei Ovechkin probably on the brink of goal scoring record in the National Hockey League ice hockey, no Philadelphia fan would travel 100 miles to support his team in Washington in an away stand. None. Not a single person would make that journey. And even if it's only an 80-minute car drive. Same with the NFL. No Philadelphia Eagles fan would travel to Washington to watch the away game in the NFL, even though they are just 80 miles or 100 miles difference between the two cities. Here, if Dortmund plays in Munich, it's a 6 hours car journey. 15,000 Dortmund people travel because that's the away capacity, will travel to support their team. That's fandom. America is no fandom. There is no fandom. It's business. And we have that ingredient of fandom which we have to consider. And CAF and everybody kind of always looks into the American perspective. And we have to consider all of these areas. That's why for me, yeah, in these votings, there should be a fan count. That should be a third of the overall voting. There should be a players count. That would be the second third of the voting. And there should be a journalist or media count, which would make the third part of the voting. And CAF should comprise them and then vote the winner. Of course, if somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo comes in with the billion social media followers, that the fan count overly overvotes everybody else, yes, but it's only 1/3 of the vote. And all of these things need to be considered. And at the end of the day, what America does very well with their sport is a product.
Yes, it
CAF
is.
should see the competition as a product, not as an emotion. Yeah, all the participants, they are responsible for the emotions. They are responsible for attracting the audiences. CAF should see their stuff as a product, and the product has values. So far, CAF has done a lot of stuff right, but there is much, much more to do, yeah, to reach the heights of the European Championship. But to be honest, for me, the AFCON is much bigger than the European Championships. Why? Because you've got a much higher population. But what the individual national teams need to do is they need to create an identity with the national team. There is no identity of Ghana, of Ghanaians, yeah, with the Black Stars. Yeah, there's a little bit of sympathy between Nigerian public and the Super Eagles, but only when they're successful. There is no sympathy when they're not successful. It's hate, it's discrimination, it's rhyme. So because there's no identity. That's why Germany, if we wear the flag, we are fully identified. We have 82 million national team coaches recommending Julian Nagelsmann who to play for the next match. That's our aim. So we are fully identical. We run around with German flags. When the teams are on, that the tables are decorated in German national flags. I don't see this in households in Nigeria when the Super Eagles play in the major competitions. I don't see this in Accra, in Ghana, when the Black Stars are playing. I see it a little bit in Egypt because obviously what's happening. I see it a little bit in Morocco because they do this identity kind of area. And that's what we need to focus on. And CAF needs to understand that. That's why CAF should not have a general secretary handbook. CAF should have a media handbook, should have a marketing handbook, should have a fan handbook, and support the national associations how to create fandom and identity for the tournaments.
Running off of Mario's comments, I think I kind of agree with him with that.
I 100% agree too.
There is always a disconnect between the national team and the populace in general. And this is because the national team doesn't try to integrate themselves with the populace. They don't integrate themselves with the fans. They don't even do media pally with the fans. They don't even try to sign like autographs with the fans. So the only time we get to experience the Super Eagles is when they are playing in Nigeria.
Match day.
Even that match day. And that's like probably like max 4 or 5 times in a year. And even when they come to Nigeria, they do not integrate themselves well with the populace. And there's like a disconnect between the national team and the populace. And I think this is an area which we need to improve on if we want to like have stronger identity to football. Also, that would drive marketing and that would drive the brand of the Super Eagles if you have the populace and the Super Eagles integrate each other. Yeah, I fully agree.
I mean, Habib, I completely agree with everything what you said. When we have the example, I mean, Wydad Casablanca, the reigning African Champions League team, comes to an away game playing in Uyo against Rivers United, and the Rivers United home fans are 278. There have been 800 tickets given free of charge in a ticketing rally. The stadium 92% empty. There is no home team advantage when the reigning African champion comes into it. And then when the Rivers United play in Wydad Casablanca, there is 80,000 madnesses jumping and cheering to the team. The players come out. They have the Rivers United players come out with goosebumps, but goosebumps of fear. And it impacts the first 10 minutes of the game. That's how powerful identity is. And that's what we need to work sub-Sahara. And that's what CAF needs to work. And that's what the NFF needs to understand. And that's what every team needs to understand. Teams in the NPFL are administrated by politicians, use taxpayers' money to fund the teams to have a great competition. Yes, the league is developing. But there is no identity of somebody in Port Harcourt with Rivers United, or very limited, because they think, okay, there's a football match, so fine. But what's in it for me? Yeah, so they only go when there's like a free of charge, when there's a goodie given, a gift given, then they turn up in some numbers, but there is no identity with the power of the team.
It's strange anyway. Kobe Bafo, we were talking about the whole response of Okocha to Jimmy Carragher and his longtime enemy or rival. This is not rivalry now. Enemy anyway, former teammate Elijah Diop also chip in on the conversation. And most time I say to myself, if these guys, use the same energy to galvanize support for African football, to push people to love African football, maybe we will not even be having Jimmy Carragher or Jurgen Klopp having to say the things that they say before we need to, be riled up, because nobody's saying that about European football. Having said that, Bafo, the worst hit of all the big teams in Africa right now is Ghana. I will keep talking about it. What happened back in the day? There was serious identity connection between the fans, the Black Stars, the Ghanaians, and the Black Stars. But today, there is no connect. What happened? How did you go from loving the Black Stars to right now being indifferent?
Oh, thank you very much. Nice to see you once again, Mario. I
Thank
think
you.
I'll link it to this whole even AFCON product there. What Carragher said was very distasteful and disrespectful, but I don't think the solution is us attacking him and stuff. Let's look at the substance. Let me take Klopp for example. Why was Klopp angry at the AFCON? To be honest, back in the day, AFCON was played in January. That time we had the top guys. So Klopp is going to lose Mane and Salah to the AFCON. He's losing the league. So obviously he's not happy. Chelsea was going to lose Didier Drogba to the AFCON. Mike Essien and all these stars. Samuel Eto'o was going back to Cameroon to play. You name them. We had a product. We had something to sell. There was quality. But however, we do not own our product because come think about it. Why were we even playing AFCON in January? Are we going to compete for viewership and the attention with the big leagues whilst EPL is still ongoing? Whilst we still have El Clasico to watch? Whilst we still have the Classic in Germany and all that to watch? No. Then we took it to the summer, which I thought we should have done from there. But now the product is down. We are indifferent. We are not promoting. Even as Africans, we do not like our product. Because in actual terms, I'm still going to watch the EPL over an AFCON game. Let an AFCON game be played at the same time. So, like I've been saying for a while, we have to start from scratch. We have to bring the quality back end. To be very, very honest, who are you going to watch in the AFCON?
I respectfully disagree with you, Kobe.
I'm coming.
But what, exactly, Abib, what are you disagreeing with? What he's saying now, is that something that is wrong with it?
I respectfully disagree with Kobe. Like, first of all, our tournament shouldn't be tailored to whatever tournament is happening in Europe. It's the AFCON, and it's first of all.
Abib, let me keep something.
Abib, relax.
Wait, Abib, wait. Try and remember that only the African Cup of Nations is the tournament that have 95% of its players playing abroad.
And I get that. So one of the Asian
how many Asian players play across Europe that needs to go there? The players from Europe that are playing European League that need to go play in the Asian League is 27%. The players in Europe playing in the African League is 84%. So why would the European League not control you? You pays the piper, he takes the two.
When Africans are playing their tournament, that's when everybody begins to realize, oh, you shouldn't be playing in January. But the same country is never extended to the Asian game.
Let's take this sentiment of Africa with Europeans aside. It's not really about that.
Wait. We are talking about. Do you even know why we play the game?
Mario made a statement as to what it's a product, and it's a football. It's not just it's actually a product and stuff. Let's look at the other business side of this. Why is the World Cup like this all in the summer? Because with that, we've moved away from all the distractions of the European football. It's tactical. In the summer, the season is over. There's nothing to give us our attention. As football fans, we are yearning for something in the summer, so you're able to sell and focus the product. Secondly, which I was come to learn in this one, who are you going to watch? In the sense that, honestly speaking, you can't argue. If you look at the quality of African players that were producing back in the day, it's like from Mount Everest to hell, underground. Who are you going to watch? And to the extent that, yes, look at how we even do the team of the year. Onana does not even start again, and then on what basis? Because he plays outside and things. And to be very honest, where is there even allegiance? You are there. You are being called for a national team, and the players are even refusing to come. That is how it has been. Honestly speaking, look at how players get angry in Europe when they are left out of the national team with post and test. Madison, it's an honor to play for England, etc., etc. Sano will be pissed because they are taken out of the German team. But here we are begging them. He's playing in some third division on the bench somewhere, and we are begging to come, and he's refused and all that. So who are you going to watch? What are you going to sell? Look at the quality. Look at the state of your pitch. Are we going to watch that black and white screen and that bad production and all that kind of things? So obviously the product is down. That is why we really don't have a leader. We only support our teams. To be honest, we only support our teams when we are back in the glory days. Let's super, but let's look at this. You are my supporter. After how many years since you last saw progress, but you still defend Man U at this. But just 2 years of Super Eagles falling down, that is the end. Because we don't have that same love for Chelsea. I've been bleeding Chelsea since back in the glory days. But for Ghana, boom. So it's like I said, I've been saying it for a while now. We have to reset from the ground up. If not, I don't think we should get angry when, I mean, yes, it's disrespect for them to say, but let's look at the substance. They're actually speaking the truth.
Now
It's a little tournament compared to all the other
let's
tournaments.
flip
Let's be
the
honest.
script.
Wait.
No.
Please,
I don't want you to
let
respond.
me
I don't
quickly
have
reply
that
to-
time. No, Abib, I don't have the time. There is a major conversation I want to
Okay,
lead.
that's fine.
Abib, I'm asking you this straight.
That's fine.
Mo Salah wins the Premier League, highest goal scorer, comes to Africa, wins the AFCON. Would he automatically be the candidate for the Ballon d'Or?
I don't think the calendar overlaps.
It doesn't
because the
overlap,
AFCON
so
starts in
it works
December.
well. So
The
try and
petty
understand what I
young
am
man.
saying.
No.
saying-
These
I am
seasons do not
giving you-
overlap. That's
No. Try and understand. I'm not talking of this season. I'm just saying
Okay.
Mo Salah wins the league title in England, wins the Champions League, wins
Yes.
African Cup of Nations. Would he be an automatic candidate for the Ballon d'Or?
He should. Yes, he should.
Would he
should.
be? You're
Yes,
suggesting.
yes.
Have we ever seen that happen in Africa? Have we ever seen that
I don't
happen?
think we've
Samuel
had
Eto'o
I
have
don't
been there.
think
Mohamed Abu Trik have been there. Have we ever
Eto'o
seen
has
that
been there.
conversation?
Yes.
The answer is no. But if a European player does that, it's automatically a Ballon d'Or candidate. If a South American player does that, wins the European Champions League, wins the league title, wherever he's playing in Europe, and then goes and wins Copa America, there's no conversation. He is the winner. That's one thing we should go back home and think about as Africans before we fight Jamie
If an
Carragher.
European had the season, if an European had the season
Last season.
when Nigeria reached the final and all that, he will be tipped for Ballon d'Or.
Straight up.
Yes.
Straight
He'll
up,
be part of the
no conversation. But having said that, I want to bring one thing to the table of Mario. I don't have Mario regularly, so I need to squeeze out the juice as possible. And there's a conversation. Omar Marmoush moved from Germany to Man City, and Serhou Guirassy is a conversation again. Some people say Arsenal should go get him. I would support that anyway. But then I need you to explain to me who's a better player between these two. I think Omar Marmoush just had one season, not even a complete season, one good season, and is this talk of the town. But Serhou Guirassy have been consistent over time, even though when he came to the AFCON, they say he didn't do well. I need your expert opinion on those two players.
They are not comparable. Because obviously Serhou Guirassy is a central forward who requires an Omar Marmoush to cross the ball. And we could compare Serhou Guirassy with Erling Haaland, because they're very similar playing style. Physically very strong, tall guy, goal scoring machines, both sides.
And why it's a little bit confusing to me is that I don't even see Omar Marmoush as a forward player. And I have quite a few friends, people who said, oh, Arteta should have gone to buy Omar Marmoush. It would have been a better player. Then when he scored a hat-trick, oh, that was even more heap on my head. But I think that a team like Arsenal actually need a Serhou Guirassy more than they need an Omar Marmoush, because Bukayo Saka will come back. There's Nwaneri already. There is Trossard. There is Martinelli. They still have a midfield that can still supply the passes. I need you to do a compare and contrast. Their perfect position on the field, their roles, and are they players that compete against each other or players that actually complement each other?
These two are totally complementing each other. Yeah, they will be perfect teammates and definitely not compete for the same position. I mean, you can compare Serhou Guirassy with an Erling Haaland. You can compare him with an Harry Kane. You can compare him with an Ishak from Newcastle United. So that's the style Serhou Guirassy plays. Yeah, he goes there where it's challenging, where it's difficult. He's a central forward. They are playing against the fullbacks or the centre backs all the time. tall guys, tough guys. If you put Omar Marmoush in there, he would never ever have that success and that goal scoring record than Sergei Guirassy has. Omar Marmoush is the versatile, fast central midfielder, which is obviously had an education to be a central midfielder because of his speed. He was converted at FC St. Pauli and VfL Wolfsburg, where he ran through the youth teams and obviously had his first professional appearances as a winger because of its speed and ball technique and his ability to play one-on-one. And obviously Sergei Guirassy has a potential of a one-on-one, but he will never have that speed and that versatile look and that great look and feel of like a Leo Messi or Omar Marmoush. And that's why they're very complementing to each other and very strong. So that's for me when I look at the purchase or the buying of Man City, it makes complete sense. Yeah? Initially, obviously filling a role for out of form wingers like Phil Foden, who had a long struggle so far this season to get his first goal under his belly, kind of questioned himself, and obviously that's where you see like when you transfer from a talent to be a superstar of a league, a superstar is very high consistent in his performance. Yeah, a talent has ups and downs, and obviously a superstar's downs are much lesser than with the younger player. So, and I think Manchester City did very well in their recruitments, especially in the winter, and obviously now going forward. Because and that's what Pep Guardiola is building. It's like the future of Manchester City will be even stronger than the current and the past. Because obviously, and that's what Phil Bowie of Chelsea is doing. Buying the best youngsters, give them time, give them the space to develop, to grow, and then obviously, sell them at a higher rate than they've been bought initially. So that's the business model of Chelsea. But Manchester City's business model is to claim titles, trophies, be the global number one football team, and there's only 3 or 4 teams to rival to this stand, which is Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, Manchester United, a little bit of Juventus, but obviously then the domestic competition of Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. So those are the contenders, and Spurs aiming that way, but they won't reach because I think there is not enough fantastic talent of that magnitude, ready for all the others.
Tottenham Hotspur are shit. They are not a football club to mention in this conversation. But I am very shocked that you didn't mention Bayern Munich, Bayern München, as you guys like to call them. But let's bring back to the German Bundesliga. It was just less than a year ago when Bayern Leverkusen ran everybody out of the park, won the season unbeaten, won the German Bundesliga, won the DFB Pokal, lost to the brilliance and the excellence of Ademola Lookman in the finals of the UEFA Europa Cup. But now they are 8 points behind Bayern Munich in a season where we can somehow say Bayern Munich are not firing on all cylinders. This is not the effervescent, this is not the all-conquering, the domineering, overpowering Bayern Munich. I remember the days of Frank Ribery operating on the left side and Ian Robben on the right side. What a team that was. Reminiscence of the Chelsea team that had Ido Johnson on one side and Ian Robben on one side. It's incredible. Or probably the Barcelona team that had Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, and then the amazing, indefatigable Neymar Jr. from Brazil. But right now, they are still on top. What happened to Bayer Leverkusen, and why is Bayern Munich on top even though they are not having a great season?
Oh, yes. Bayern Munich has a great season, to be honest, and that's why they are in 2 out of the 3 competitions they started with. Obviously, they were bailing out in the German Cup against Bayer Leverkusen 0-1, dominating the game but not scoring, and Bayer Leverkusen scored. Bayern Munich now is very concerned and worried because they draw in the Champions League next round Bayern 04 Leverkusen. They are the team they hate to play, the team they struggle to play, and we also know it's a mindset game. So, and Bayer Leverkusen had at the start of the season something achieved which Borussia Dortmund not achieved in the past 10 years, which RB Leipzig didn't achieve in the past 10 years, which all the contenders who aimed for the German title didn't succeed in the past 10 years. To kick off Bayern Munich from the throne. And then obviously that created in the dressing room, obviously, first of all, an unbelievable cheer, but also some dispute because some players obviously aimed higher and bigger. Jonathan Tah wanted to leave, yeah, until the last day of the summer transfer period. He requested to leave, and Xabi Alonso said, "You're not leaving." So he wanted to go to Bayern, then he wanted to go to Barcelona. I want to go everywhere. And if the captain of the team is this settled, obviously it brings in ambition by the replacements. It brings in kind of up destruction in the structure of the team play. And that's where the results at the beginning of the season for Bayern 04 Leverkusen, where they dropped the points, were not perfect because in the Bundesliga you need to perform every time. So Bayer 04 didn't have that credo of scoring late anymore because the dressing room was not united. The dressing room was inseparate. Their quality was still great, but if you compare man to man, the Bayern 04 Leverkusen squad against the FC Bayern squad, man to man, Bayern would outrank the individual team ability stronger. So Bayern 04 Leverkusen was a unit to destroy Bayern's German title hopes last season, and the unit succeeded. Individual class always stands for FC Bayern, and that unit now is back. Jonathan Tah is settled. Bayern already said they've got no interest this summer to buy him for Bayern. So the only move would be possibly abroad. Then obviously when you go abroad on free contract, you want to have a signing fee, and obviously that signing fee is obviously then being taken by Jonathan Tah, his family, his friends, and everybody wants a share. So it's going to be very, very high. And I don't think many clubs can afford this signing fee and the salary expectation from a free player, and that's why is Bayern 04 Leverkusen now is anyway going in the direction it wants to play, so that the unit is back in front. Granit Xhaka plays a great role and is now the undisputed leader of the team and is back in the form he needs. And I think Bayern will face an uphill battle in the Champions League knockout stage, and has enough guidance or sort of point distance to Bayer 04 Leverkusen that they can claim the title. Yeah? I mean, tonight is probably the most critical game. Bayern plays Stuttgart, who also brings challenges to the Bayern formation. If Bayern wins this kind of game, then I think it's all clear for Harry Kane's first title ever, and then probably him leaving Bayern to go back to the Premier League.
Are you sure he's actually going to go back to the Premier League?
I think at some point he will, for sure.
If Bayern are going to look for strikers, is there a path? I mean, I don't know what the rumors are, but I keep asking this question. Is there a path where Victor Osimhen goes to Bayern, Harry Kane goes back to the English Premier League, maybe for Spurs or any team after winning the title? Is there a roadmap for that?
There's no rumor for that, because obviously, I mean, Victor Osimhen has now across Europe, obviously, the image of being greedy and looking more to the purse than the sporting opportunities, and obviously that needs to come back again. I mean, he's delivering well for Galatasaray, as he delivered well for Napoli. He favors a different playing style, which obviously could fit to the Bayern squad. But obviously, from a salary perspective, Bayern will be very conservative, or has to become more conservative. That's what they already announced. So I think using a player here in Germany, like a Serhou Guirassy, maybe, to be honest, for me, the perfect replacement of Harry Kane plays at RB Leipzig. Serhou, he's going to be the central forward for Bayern because he's the beginning, early 20s. And he will play for Bayern 6, 7, 8 years, against 20 titles. That's something which I can definitely see. I don't see Victor Osimhen, because not only the greediness, and we know it. We discussed it many times.
Yes, we do.
Victor Osimhen with the same age than he really is, or does Bayern want to kind of buy an early 30 years old and kind of go into a 2-year agreement to see that? So I think that's with Serhou, that's a more safer bet.
Let's look at the Italian Serie A. I remember when the season started. It started with Osimhen and Napoli. Juventus got the new coach in Thiago Motta. all of the teams were not really set. But I remember Daniele telling us that this season will be a surprise. Let's not expect the usual suspects. Unfortunately, Inter Milan are trying to defy that prediction. We also saw Napoli and Atalanta go at it, head to head at some point. For me, I thought that Conte was going to do enough to get it, but I mean, he lost the position on the top. Still within the shot of winning it. But what has been your take home from the Italian Serie A this season so far? Not there yet, but I mean, who can you pick will be the winner at the end of the season?
I think we can see four teams aiming for the title. Yeah, so Atalanta is going to be a surprise package. Napoli and Inter, obviously going strong, are consistent in that way, and therefore will be rising or staying there in the end. And I don't discard Juventus at this point in time, because if they found all their ingredients, and if they find their consistency and their hunger, they still have a role to play. We've got 12 more match days. And in these 12 more match days, there are 36 points. At the moment, Juventus is 8 points adrift from Inter. And that's, for this competitive league, not enough, because you see Inter struggling sometimes, getting late draws. Yeah, have to fight very, very hard for their 3-point wins. And therefore, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting title race in Serie A until the end of the season.
As we march on, and we need to look at Arsenal before I jump to Habib and our barrister. Arsenal ends this season in second, probably get knocked out by PSV in the Champions League. Would this season be considered a failure for Arsenal? I mean, all things being equal, the pyramid of injuries that they've had, Arsenal have not fielded the same players, the same starting 11 in 5 consecutive games all season. Would this be considered a failure, considering where Man United is, Spurs, Chelsea, even Man City, who won the title last season?
Yeah, if you're runner up in the Premier League, it's not a failed season. Obviously, you have goals to become a title contender, and you are a title contender. Although you can see the consistency of Liverpool is the game changer, and it's the differentiator between those. But Liverpool had injuries. Yeah, Manchester City has major injuries. And therefore, obviously, those things come throughout. I think overall, the central forward role is a big differentiator, because obviously when you look at Mo Salah, yeah, not being a central forward, but he compensates the central forward of Liverpool, and he scores. And obviously when he's kind of having a quiet game, then David Nunes stands in. And if there's always somebody believing in the ability to score. Arsenal don't have that consistent 10, 15, 20 goal scorer which they can count on. Manchester City has Haaland, who they say he will always score 20 goals. Yeah, and every team has those. Yeah, Chelsea's got their Cole Palmer, who's scoring the goals. So, and Arsenal doesn't have that. And Kai Havertz will never be a 20, 25 goal scoring striker, and that's what needs to just be understood. Because obviously he moved from a winger to become a central forward just by the style of play of Mikel Arteta, not by his choice. Because obviously playing against the central forward is physically much more hard than on the wings, when you can use your pace and overrun it. Yeah, that's not possible in the center of the field. On
True.
the wings it is possible, and that's why Arsenal, for me, has not understood, or Mikel Arteta kind of in that credibility has not evolved the Pep Guardiola style he learned with Pep Guardiola as his assistant, and he's not evolved it. And even Pep Guardiola has evolved, because we never imagined that Erling Haaland would find a space in the Manchester City team if you look back 3-4 years. But he consistently delivers with the scores, and that's the differentiator. That's why Man City, even having a terrible season, still sits on top, or sits in the top 4. And Arsenal, yes, they're consistent, they're great. They've got a solid back. They've got a great midfield when everybody is fit. But for me, they're lacking the central forward, the goal scoring machine, scoring 20 plus goals.
Habib, are you still with me?
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
need to rush, Erafa.
No problem. Habib, we've talked about this for so much, but I'm going to come back again. The summer comes. What's the most likely destination for Victor Osimhen? And the reason why I'm asking this was that a rumor, I saw a speculation that Osimhen to Manchester United is 95% done. Now that worries me. The reason it worries me, even though you're a Man
I
United
saw
fan,
that too, but I saw that too, but I think that source, I don't trust that source because it's business day newspaper.
okay, whether we trust or we don't trust, but it's a rumor that's out there. So let's talk about that rumor for a minute. For all the clubs that is available for Victor Osimhen to go to, is Manchester United the right destination? I know you're a Man United fan, but is Manchester United the right destination for Osimhen?
England is not even the right destination for Victor Osimhen at
Uh-huh.
all. I think
I thought everybody said you should come to us now.
no, please no. I don't think Victor Osimhen. I don't doubt his quality. Victor Osimhen is impressive. He's athletic. He brings goals. He brings energy. But and he comes with a lot of baggages. And in England, I'm just scared for him because the media is going to eat him up. And with the issue happening in Germany, issue happening in Italy, all these issues become exaggerated and blown out of proportion if it comes to England. Osimhen does one thing, the next thing you know, you have pundits, the media houses crucifying him for doing all those kind of things. Like things that would fly under the radar. He's dealing with like an issue with a journalist in Turkey, his issue with Antonio Conte. Like those issues will probably be swept under the carpet. But in England, it's like times 10. I don't doubt his footballing ability. I think if he comes to England, he's going to do very well. But sometimes some of the baggages and his attitude, it begs a lot of questions. And in England, because he's my countryman, I don't want that kind of criticism for him. Because criticizing Osimhen is like attacking Nigerians and like those kind of yeah. And those kind of criticism would not fly in England at all. He can come to England. He can come to England and start scoring goals. Osimhen does one thing, or he's angry at the ref, or he screams at his teammates. The next thing, you have the Jamie Carraghers of this world analyzing and dissecting everything and saying he's too arrogant, he's too this, he's too that, and that starts to affect his game. Please,
There is definitely not going to be peace for Jamie Carragher. There's nothing we'll talk that his name will not be mentioned now.
you have the line of Jamie Carragher analyzing everything, or you have the Grand Souness of this world trying to attack him and say, oh, he's too arrogant, he's too this, he's too that. Like, I don't want that for him.
Are you saying that Victor Osimhen does not have the character to deal with all of that in the Premier League?
I don't think he does. He has the quality to play in the Premier League, but the character is like, oh, please.
So where would you suggest he go after this?
I swear
like he will go to Juventus. Doesn't look like he will go to Bayern. Paris Saint-Germain doesn't look like they are going to get him. Where should he go?
I think Paris Saint-Germain is in for him. And if the rumors to Bayern are actually true with what Mario said, Harry Kane going back to England, I think the German Bundesliga will also be a good fit for him.
Bayern will not sign Osimhen anyway. Let's be honest. Let's be practical. Bayern will not sign Osimhen. Benjamin Sesko, as Mario said, is the best candidate for Bayern. Bayern will not sign Osimhen. Look at the age, and Bayern will not. Bayern does not have a history of doing that. They did that with Harry Kane once. They're not going to sign Osimhen. They're not going to repeat it.
And it kind of fits the Barcelona template, like this high line, high pressing. I don't know if Barcelona will go for him, but I kind of
does he have the skill set? Does he have the skill set to play the Barcelona way? Barcelona system is a very difficult system.
What's the Barcelona way? You have as a flick playing high line, high pressing. So what do you mean by the Barcelona way?
Well, I think that the Barcelona way is quite a bit technical, a lot more technical than meet the eyes. Remember when the club of this world, Alexander Song, says Fabregas, were all dazzling everybody in the Premier League, and so when they go to the La Liga with Barcelona, that's a system that fits, is the hand to the glove thing, and we saw how all of them did there. It wasn't that easy. Then Felipe Coutinho went. Then it was Osman Dembele, sorry, and all of these guys. They keep going there, And we know how it ended. Barcelona is not an easy place to fit in, even though people just think that, oh, football is football everywhere. It's not football everywhere.
I think Kobe has like a contrary opinion. I want to hear what he
I have a question for Kobe before I bring a contrary opinion. Kobe, one of Ghana's brightest talent right now, and I know because you are angry, you might not be as objective as you should be, but I mean, as a lawyer, I know you'll get past all those anger. Mohamed Kudus, West Ham. No matter what they do, they beat us now. There's always going to be that one season where every season where they beat one big team, they surprise people, but it's still West Ham. They're still going to battle relegation. They're not going to play at the top. Is it time for Mohamed Kudus to move? He's one of Ghana's brightest talents, and the best talent of Ghana used to play at the very top. Is it time for him to move?
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
Stay at West Ham?
No. Yes, for now.
Damn.
Because one of our brightest talents and things, but with the way his attitude currently is going, how he's playing and things, I don't think, no disrespect to West Ham, but I don't think, after West Ham, the next level we are trying is go to a top club. I don't think he's going to, fit with a top club with that kind of thing. So he plays like, I don't know what's called in Nigeria, but Ghana, we call it like one change. You know, when we put money on football, those teams are like one
say
star.
Say it in that your Ghana language. Say it in that. No problem. Say it like that. Say it the way you say it in Ghana. Don't come and be translating for me. Say it like that. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, we call it one change. So maybe we have two teams that we just put money on it. When that takes it on, you have that one star player that wants to do everything. You take this ball, run 15 meters, lose the ball, and start walking, and throwing hands. When a teammate does something like tries to do it all. And that is why this season has been sort of a drop off, because he's trying to do it instead of being efficient. And that's why he has been playing for Black Stars too. So I'll say that his attitude now fighting with fans once you criticize him small and a bit, because these are the same fans that were kudos day giving you all these fans where you were being efficient. And that is not going to suffice in a top club, because now with West Ham, arguably you are the main player there, even though you'll be admin for Bowen and all that. So you could do whatever you want. They need you, but that's not going to fit in a team where there's more competition. Even the star players are struggling to get better players, for the ones better where they're struggling to get into the team. So for now, till he decides to, change his ways, he has enough leverage to, for the ones better word, misbehave in West Ham and do these things. Because aside the Arsenal game, that's the best game that's the best performance I've seen from me this season. The Arsenal, game. If not, it's not ready for a big move. That'll be the end of his career.
Stay with you, Kobe. Is there anything that CAF should do about AFCON that they are not doing? Because sometimes we get reactive, but let's also give them credit. They've done quite a lot. And is there anything missing that you think, okay, they should fix this, they should put this, they should do that, and the status of the competition or status of the competition would go higher than the level that they've taken it to currently?
Well, let's give them their flowers when it's due. Based on the just ended one, Ivory Coast. If I get, that was well organized, packaged, everything, and the product started becoming there. I wouldn't say maybe what else they have to do differently. For that tournament, I was personally satisfied and happy with it. So if they can build on it, sometimes keeping the standard and building on what they are bringing there, it will be fine. So let's see how they are going now. Build on it. And I think they should probably, find a way to make the AFCON more disciplined in terms of, how these countries, so that the countries can also be much more responsible. Because we always hear issues about, internally, teams are this, they go to this hotel, they are not happy, etc., etc. Players now have to use their own money to pay for flights and things and stuff. If we start sanctioning countries who are not prepared before they come to the AFCON, because it affects the whole thing, it could also be better. Before we hear Mikel had to use his money to pay for the hotel for, the players before the federation did this, and we have GFO. Our president has to use started flight to go and give them money and all those kind of riots and stuff. So apart from just the internal camp matter, shouldn't just be for the country. CAF should also sanctions so that countries and FAs should also be on guard. You don't misbehave because it affects the world products. So that's for me. More discipline.
Abib,
Apart from that,
Abib,
we should
what do you have to
continue.
chip in on this?
3 things CAF have to do.
Okay.
First, they have to increase their finances, and Patrick Musepe is already doing that. He's a billionaire, so he's bringing the idea of business, selling the products more to the people. I think he's doing that. He's doing a tremendous job with that. I think there's still a long way which we have to go. Increase the finances, increase marketing. You have to sell the products to African people more. The games has to be accessible to people. We should be able to watch from the comfort of our homes. Everybody should be able to see the games. Sell to African people. Let African people be a part of CAF. And they did that very well with social media engineering and marketing, where you had every country engaging the social media account and the content they were putting.
But that one wasn't credit to CAF. It was just African journalists, content creators who reacted to Jurgen Klopp.
We need to give African CAF credit for that. I think it was well engineered for that kind of reaction, because prior to 2024, I don't think we've had something like that skill. Like when
it was because content creators decide, because the content creators that left Nigeria to go produce content in Ivory Coast, none of them have anything to do with CAF. Okay, they got accreditation. That's where it ends. CAF. I've seen other countries or continents where they pay influencers come and push out. I don't think CAF did that.
Compare the content creation of like CAF and what happens in the Euros or Copa America. Which did you enjoy more?
I'm an African. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
But whatever happened, I'm still going to be an African. I'm a Pan-Africanist.
Even if you were an African, the content creation regarding...
And then the people who are creating the content are majorly my friends. Do you understand? Some of them are my friends. Some of them are my proteges. Where do you want me to lie my... Come on, I'm going to be biased even if you have...
It's not even about being biased, Edafe. It's better.
Well, we tried. We did well.
We watched the Euros.
I thought, this is my own thinking, I thought that CAF would have created an opportunity to appreciate those content creators during the CAF award. I just thought that we're not supposed to just be like, all those guys who created content. If all they do was for CAF to put on the big screen, select some of the content that was created by these content creators out of the CAF listing, and then just mention their handle. If that's all they did, I think that it would have made a little bit of progress, encouragement. Listen, to create content is expensive. People don't know that. It's very, very expensive. Content creation is not a 5 naira business. It's expensive. Okay, my budget to go to Morocco, for instance, with my crew is already in the region of 500 million, 500 million, right? But when you talk about it, you go there and you do it, it doesn't generate into the instant numbers for you. And even the people that you're trying to promote their content doesn't even acknowledge it. Sometimes it kills your morale. Next time you say, I'm not going. What am I going there to do? So I think that CAF should also look at that. Work differently. Don't look at UEFA or FIFA, because these guys already have it going for them. FIFA have their FIFA Plus. UEFA have their UEFA website that runs match commentaries and do all their events in such a way. Your CAF is still depending on YouTube, right, to do their, which is okay. But I think that CAF should acknowledge most of these content creators, the ones that are coming from South Africa, the ones that are coming from Gambia, Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana, every part of the world, to do content for your competition, especially a competition that Europeans are systematically bashing. And it's a strategy to me, I think that everything is a strategy. Let's talk them down. Let's not make them feel like they are important. Thank God we are reacting the way we are reacting, but I need us to go into the competition and also do well. But I think that CAF needs to also, dot their I's and cross their T's, because sometimes when they make this...
I think CAF also needs help from the African Union in terms of like accessibility. The average
Does African Union really exist?
African Union should get involved in what interference from what government?
Listen, Kobe.
I think I know where it's coming. They should open the borders.
As an African, I
don't need visa to go to another African country. Yeah.
I don't need visa to go to another country in Africa. Europeans don't do that.
Kobe, take for instance, I live in Lagos. I want to go to Morocco. Morocco embassy is in Abuja. It will cost me and my crew to fly to Abuja for personal interview. That's money I don't need spending. if the borders are open. The Europe that we're learning from, they don't have borders. I landed in the Netherlands. I went to Portugal. From Portugal, I went to Spain. From Spain, I went to France. From France, I went to Germany. And I was running around, went to Belgium. I'm going to do that again next month. I'm not worried about, when I reach Italy now, how do I enter? How do I do? You're crossing Nigeria to Cotonou. They're asking you, where's your laissez-passer, laissez-passer? What's that? I'm going to Ghana. They will stop me at Aflao and start asking me questions.
Even Morocco is far. The African Nations Cup in Ivory Coast, how many Nigerians were able to even go to Ivory Coast? Even you, that you border Ivory Coast, how many Ghanaians were able to go to Ivory Coast to support Ghana in Ivory Coast?
Well, a lot were able to go, just that we won't go. That's different. But I mean, I understand you, but
Kobe,
you see,
Kobe, you're evil. Do you know that you're evil?
Oh, lots. Well, just that we won't go. How would it go to go and watch what we did? 2 minutes, then we are. I beg you, let me stay home and sleep.
Comoros,
Madagascar. But sometimes you see, when we look at Europeans and those kind of things, I mean, this is a show that will go online and stuff. I don't want Africans bashing me, but let's look at the things. If you open this free trade, free access things for our continent and our brothers and sisters and all that can happen. We are looking at the good side, but sometimes you wait on the CBA. It's much more detrimental than beneficial. Well, I think Africa still needs to be treated like a boarding school.
I do not agree with you on that one, and I know I'm not going to agree.
I mean,
we're not really.
We know our brothers and sisters, right?
No, I don't know our brothers and sisters. I know that we can do. I know that we can do well. No, I disagree with you. I know that we can do well. Let's open the borders. Try it for 2 years. If it goes bad, you close the border again. How about that?
Then if it goes bad, we are going to spend next 50 years trying to clean up the mess.
What mess? What mess are we cleaning up that Europeans did not give us already? The mess that Europeans have created in the Congo, the mess that they created in Niger and everywhere that we are still surviving on. You think that we're going to create a mess that is worse than what the Europeans created for us? Come on. Come on.
But our same brothers will go and collect some coins and pocket and hurt their own people.
Oh God, Kobe. You really want to close the border?
I don't think Kobe is pro-African. So
Kobe is a rich man.